Have you ever wondered if you have to be a certain age to be a foster parent? Or maybe if you have to own your own home, you have to be a citizen, or if that foster child needs to have their own room? Today, we're going to talk about that as we dispel 12 myths about foster parenting. Let's go. As a foster family, since 2006, we've learned a few things about what it takes to get licensed as a foster family. And so we are going to dispel 12 myths about what it means to be a foster parent. And so myth number one is that you need to be married. And the answer to that is no, you absolutely don't need to be married. These kids do really, really well in single parent households. Sometimes these kids come from abusive backgrounds to where maybe their father abused them. And so they're can be triggered maybe sometimes by father figures. And so they really benefit by being in a house where there's just a female, or it could be their mother that abused them, or there was some kind of situation to where they feel threatened by their mother. And so they really benefit by being in a single father household. And so no, you do not need to be married to become a foster parent. So myth number two, aren't I too young to be a foster parent? Depending on which state you live in, you need to be either 18 or 21 to be licensed as a foster parent. These kids thrive in younger households because a lot of times younger households are really engaging and they connect really well. They play and enjoy the outdoors, and these kids really just need connection. They need to engage and connect with their foster parent, and they benefit greatly by being in a younger foster house. And so if you are 18, 21 or older, yes, you would qualify to become a licensed foster parent. Okay, so number three is, aren't I too old to be licensed as a foster parent? Absolutely not. No, our kids now are adult kids. One of them is married, and we are still licensed as foster parents. We have a 2-year-old, in fact, and we have seen some excellent older foster parents. A lot of times they are retired. They tend to stay home more. They're really big on connecting with their kids and just sharing their wisdom. They're a lot more patient. They're calmer. I know I've gotten a lot more patient over the years as we've been licensed for over a decade. And so if you are older, if your kids are married and out of the house, or they're in college, it's absolutely an excellent time to become licensed as a foster family. So number four is, I couldn't be a foster parent because I work full time. I cannot tell you how many times I have heard this. However, what you might not know is that you can work full time and become a foster parent. I have worked part-time off and on throughout the years and been able to stay home mostly, but there are some excellent foster parents who do work full time. The kids will go to daycare, or maybe they'll take older kids who are 5 and older and they're in school the rest of the day. And so they can make it work to where they work and then the kids in school. But even if you want an infant, there are options and there are ways for you to work full time as well as be a foster parent. Number 5 is, but I can't afford daycare. What a lot of people also don't know is that the state will pay for daycare for you. So if you're working full time, if you have your own business or work from home, or even go to school yourself, the state will support you and support that child. They'll pay for summer school, before school, and after school daycare, whatever's needed for you so that you can adequately care for your child. And so yes, you will get daycare and you can continue to work while you are a foster parent. Number 6 is, don't I need to make a lot of money to be able to be a foster parent? Again, what people don't know is daycare is provided. All the health and the medical needs of that child are provided. When a child comes into care, if it's a first time into placement, that foster parent will also receive a voucher for clothes for that child. What the state does ask is that you can pay for your mortgage and your bills and your electricity and car payments and take care of your immediate family. And in addition to that, the state will support you as you become a foster parent. And so no, you don't need to be rich. You just need to be able to support yourself, and you still can be a foster parent. Number 7 is, don't I have to be super healthy to be able to take care of these kids? And the reality is no, you can have diabetes, you can have high blood pressure. My husband actually has a thyroid disorder that he's had since he was a little boy, and we've still been licensed. We got licensed in 2006 and have had renewed our license 4 or 5 times since then. And each time it is sufficient that as long as he's physically healthy enough to take care of these kids, the state will license you. And so the same goes for you. You don't have to be a triathlete or a marathon runner. You just have to be able to physically keep up and be a good parent like anybody else. Number 8 is, I can't be a foster parent because I'm not a U.S. citizen. Well, guess what? You don't need to be. You just need to be a resident, and in some states have been a resident for a few years before you can get licensed. It depends on the state that you live in. Some require you to speak English and to be able to write English, but other ones don't have as strict measures. And so these kids, especially kids from different cultures, thrive and need desperately homes that are of the same ethnicity as them. Imagine coming into care, going into a new home where they don't speak your language, they don't cook the foods that you're used to cooking, and you are in a completely new environment. Cultural, different families are desperately needed as foster parents. We actually talked to our foster parent licensor a few years ago about this, and he was saying that they are just desperate for ethnic families. So if you are just a resident and you are not a citizen, go ahead, talk to the people in your state and pursue getting licensed. These kids desperately need you. So number 9 is, but what if I'm not experienced with kids? Can I still get licensed? So maybe you didn't grow up with a whole bunch of brothers or sisters, or maybe you never babysat, or you just haven't been around a lot of kids. You can still get licensed to be a foster parent. So when you come to get licensed, there's training that will be offered to you by the state and continued training available to you. And so what we've experienced in our over a dozen years of caring for kids is even above and beyond what the state offers as far as training, the best experience you can get is one-on-one, getting to know these kids, connecting and caring for them, because honestly, each child is so unique anyway. You learn and grow experience as you go. And so go ahead and get licensed. You don't have to have had a ton of experience. You just have to be willing to care for these kids. So number 10 is, I don't know if I want to get licensed because I've heard the home study is scary. I don't want them digging up my entire past. Well, it depends what your past is. If you've had child abuse in your past or any kind of child crime, you don't want to get licensed. And honestly, we don't think you're a very good candidate probably to get licensed as a foster parent. But if it was something else and it was years ago, you don't need to worry. The social worker will come, sit down with you, take each situation one by one and just kind of talk through and walk through, what your past situation was. And so there's nothing really to be afraid of. If you're just open and honest, the state is so gracious and so understanding. They're in desperate need of foster parents. And so don't let your past hinder what you're meant to do in the future. Okay, number 11 is that I can't be a foster parent because I don't own my own home. Well, guess what? You don't have to own your own home. You can live in an apartment, you can live in a townhouse, you can live in a motorhome, and guess what? You can still get licensed to be a foster parent. The state doesn't look at how big your house is or how nice of things that you have. They do check whether it's clean and well organized, whether it's a safe environment. If you have firearms that are locked up and medicines that are locked up, they want that child safe. But apart from that, you don't need to have a lot of rooms in this big, enormous house. You just have to be willing to share the house that you do with the kids that might come into your care. Number 12, and this is the final one, is that I can't be a foster parent because I don't have an extra room in my house. But guess what? You don't have to have a room in your house for every single foster child. Foster kids can share rooms with biological kids as long as they're the same gender. If they're school age or older, they can also share a room with you if they're 1 year old. And so what we've found over the years in our house was that when foster kids share rooms with our biological or our adopted children, those kids thrive. They see healthy examples and model the excellent behavior of your own kids, and that can be such a blessing to these kids. And so don't be afraid to take foster kids. If you don't have a lot of extra rooms, that's okay. Often there is a way to make it work. So please go out and get licensed anyway. It will bless you more than you know. So these are just 12 myths about becoming a foster parent. I'm sure there's so many more. If you can think of some, write them in the comments below. And thank you so much for watching. My guess is if you have a desire and a will to help foster kids, there is a way. So go ahead and seek out getting licensed and to see what a blessing these kids can be in your life, because I know they sure have blessed mine. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like it, subscribe below, and share it with your friends. And remember, go out, live bold, and be brave.